Welcome students of Form 3B in this case. Again, this is a video about social groups and to be precise, paragraph 2 of chapter 2. And in this video, I will give some added explanation about the three other groups, peer groups, for instance, interest groups, and the third one I just forgot actually. But I give some extra explanation about these three groups so you understand them better. And I also will give some examples of our island of Curacao, where you can see peer groups, interest groups, pressure groups in action and in examples in Curacao, because these kinds of groups you can find very much on our island also. We're talking about social groups, and I hope at the end of this topic you will be able to define peer groups, interest groups, and pressure groups and use them and outline them. Define, use, and outline the three groups: pressure groups, peer groups, and interest groups. Talk about the characteristics and also use them in relation to various social groups. And when we're talking about define, linkvapimento is aqui significa definir. I have to define them. What are they? How can I recognize them? These kinds of things. What is a social group? A social group consists of two or more people who interact frequently, share common interests, share a feeling of unity, work towards a common goal or objective, and have common expectations of behavior. Yes, so if you have 3, 4, or even 5 of this checklist present, then we can talk about a social group. And for now, it's important that they have a sentido de unión, unidad, and also that we see that they have common interests. They want to achieve certain things. They have an interest in clean air. They have an interest in nurturing the stray dogs in the streets of Curaçao. They have an interest in a better local neighborhood, a barrio local, limpi, or organizamiento, and they have a common goal or objective. For instance, por ejemplo, yeah, cleaning your own neighborhood, being it Coral Specht or of Traiceru or Barber. Cleaning your neighborhood can be, limpiarnos barrio can be a common goal. For instance, of the Curacao cleanup of 2023 was an action to organize a cleanup of your own neighborhood. So this can also be an interest group or even a pressure group, or getting your neighborhood, the whole island cleaned. This can be a pressure group pressuring the people on the island or pressuring the local politics, or getting rid of poverty on an island. Yeah, un Curaçao sin pobreza. Yeah, like the Red Cross is helping us. Yeah, so this can all three organizations, that of Curaçao Cleanup or the Red Cross or other organizations concerning the dogs on our island or concerning local neighborhoods, wijkvereniging, buurtvereniging, Bandabouw, all kinds of neighborhood organizations, they can have a common goal and they have interests. Interest means they want to achieve something in their neighborhood or in their part of the island or amongst their own group. These are two very important interests and common goal. Also, we see the subject of peer pressure, and something that is very present with you guys. Peer influence, or in other words, peer pressure. So you see a picture of two ladies vaping, and you read the following. Samantha Odo's 18-year-old son has tried a range of strategies to quit vaping, but he says it hasn't been easy. The cravings, the habits, it's tough, Odo says. Yeah, keeping busy, activities and joys help distract him for the urge, the need to vape. But, and here comes the core thing, yeah, it has also been crucial for him to surround himself with friends who support his decision. Peer influence, peer pressure is no joke. So peer pressure is a pressure of people of roughly your own age, their behavior, and if a lot of your peers show that behavior, it can put in pressure on you. And this can be a positive example or a negative example. But I would say in the example of the ladies here, it is rather a negative example. And resisting peer pressure can be very intense, of course. You'll probably feel that too. And it can be very intense. In other words, peer pressure is no joke. Peer groups, interest groups, and pressure groups. Those are the three groups we still have remaining. And we need to talk to those somewhat more to get them clear. So a peer group is made out of people of a similar age, 14, 15, 18, even 20 or 24, who have a similar social status, similar experiences, interests, and values. They connect and they have roughly the same age. They might be friends with their peers, but a peer group does not always consist out of friends. Peer pressure. Now we have a very important concept. Peer pressure. Yes? What is that? What is peer pressure? Peer pressure is the influence a peer group of roughly the same age and interests places on an individual, one person, to conform to the values and the behavior of the group. Yeah? So the peers, with their example and with their behavior, they influence, they pressure one person to behave in the same way. That is what peer pressure is. Peer pressure can be, like I said, about certain behavior, using vapes, using cigarettes, using alcohol, using drugs, but it also can be about listening to certain music or wearing certain kinds of clothes. And the pressure on the individual is to do the same as the group does, actually. Yes, and this can be about music, can be about taking substances, it can be about wearing a certain kind of clothes, it can be having a piercing somewhere in the face or your ears that other people also have. Yeah. So it can be about music, it can be about behavior like smoking or even vaping, like the thing above. And resisting peer pressure is very difficult for children starting 6 till 12 years old, and adolescents between 12 and roughly 18 years old. This can be very difficult to resist. Resisting peer pressure, like the article said, is no joke. And it can be very difficult for adolescents or children to resist the influence of the group, like you can see to the right, on the individual. This pressure can be very strong of peer pressure. And you won't even notice it, but it's there. The second one, interest groups. An interest group is a group of individuals who share an interest. So they have an interest concerning their neighborhood, ng barrio, concerning the pollution of a factory, for instance, raffinaderia, and the group may exist to protect the interest of its members, and they organize activities to influence public opinion. Think about the protest actions concerning Playa Lagoon. National associations or hotel owners, farmers, or manufacturers are examples of such groups. But also people organize concerning a certain neighborhood. Yeah. So they want to influence people in government or public opinion, the opinion of most people in the country, to change something or to protect something, like it says here. They want to protect the interests of its members. So, for instance, the people of Fundación Serie Otrobanda, they want to protect the interests of the people living in Serie Otrobanda. It's a neighborhood organization, a buurtorganisatie, with a purpose, the goal, the common goal of protecting the interests in Trasnan of the belangen of the people living in Serie Otrobanda. And this is an example of an interest group. Group number 3, the last one of this video, pressure groups. Pressure groups seek to influence public opinion, there we have it again, or policy, and are usually involved with issues that affect people outside their membership. So it's not just about people living in that neighborhood. Yeah, it's also about people that it affects people outside of their membership. So it's not only about themselves, but it's also about people outside of the direct members of the pressure group. Yeah, and it's not only about people who are directly a member of that pressure group. It's usually involved with issues that affect also people outside of their membership. For example, a group may form to protest about a major road development that will destroy an area of unspoiled natural beauty. In our case, again, think about the protest groups that came together to protect Playa Lagoon and other beaches a few weeks ago. They pressure the government, like Gilmar Pisas, our prime minister, to change their plans in renovating the beaches with putting big concrete buildings there. Yeah. So if you're talking about pressure groups, these groups organize as one. So different people organize as one for a certain goal, for a certain interest, and they want to influence public opinion or the policy coming from the government. Gobierno. Yeah. But also a few years back, the fumes and the smokes coming from the refinery made people in Buena Vista and also other organizations called SMOC or Clean Air Curaçao to influence the Rafinaderia and government. And also it exceeded the interest only of Buena Vista, but it was also about the interest of the whole island, getting less toxic smokes out of the refinery. This picture to the side of me has been taken like 10 years ago of the people living in Buena Vista. They wanted to be protected from those smokes. Okay, so we've seen we can now define also those three groups: interest groups, peer groups, and pressure groups, and we can use those terms in relation to various social groups, and we can outline them and their characteristics. And we were talking about the chapter 2, paragraph 2, social groups. I hope you found this extra video as an addition to part 1 and 2 helpful. If you have more questions, ask them, of course, during class. Have a nice evening, have a nice afternoon or morning, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to ask questions below or put a thumbs up if you liked the video. Goodbye.